So what is going on, guys? It's Triple G here, back with a DMZ video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about DMZ as a whole for a complete guide in what the mode is, how to set your gear up, and you are ready to go into those games in the most prepared fashion possible. And then once you're in there, what you should be looking out for and what you should be doing first. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 6 times a week. And otherwise, let's get straight into this video. So DMZ is a variant that dropped with Warzone today, and DMZ is the extraction zone, extraction mode. What that means is if you've ever played games like Escape from Tarkov or The Division, you're going to be going in with a certain amount of gear, and if you die, you will lose some of that gear. But if you extract, you get to keep your gear plus any gear you find while you're in there. So it brings a risk versus reward strategy to your gameplay and allows you to have something on the line when fighting both PvP and the PvE enemies within DMZ. Now, to access DMZ, you will be having the main screen here where you'll be able to select between DMZ and the other game modes with multiplayer and Warzone itself. Now, when you select DMZ, you will get this screen, which is the lobby screen, and you will see at the bottom here, you'll be able to squad fill if you're a solo or a duo player to get that extra bit of firepower for your squad. If you do not want that, then you can turn that off and you can go in solo. The first thing we're going to talk about is the faction missions, and those are the reasons to go in there. So you can just go in and level up guns if you want to, but you're going to be given a faction mission. Basically, you'll get given 3 each time that you can select to go in and accomplish, and you can see that you have 3 factions to do. Each ones go all the way up to tier 3. And you'll see that once you complete tier 2 story missions on a previous one, you'll then unlock it. So there's a ton of missions for you to do in this screen. You can select 3 at a time to monitor. And if you're in a squad, it doesn't matter who picks it up or who kills the enemy, it all counts for you. The next thing we're going to touch on is the weapon system. Now, the weapon system in DMZ is completely different to any other mode. You have 2 guns to be given to you at the start, and then it's up to you what you can choose based on a number of varieties. So at the moment, you'll see I have a large backpack here. You'll start off with a small one, and then these slots will be empty. The very first time you load in here, you will have 2 guns here selected, and you can deselect at any time and deselect or swap any equipment at any time. So what you want to do is you want to set yourself up with a weapon that you're comfortable with. Now, what it doesn't make apparent here is that you can swap out this weapon. So how the system works in DMZ is you will start off with 1 insured slot. Now, this insured slot can be fully customizable to any of the attachments that you have unlocked, either via Warzone or via the multiplayer itself. Now, if you extract a weapon from DMZ with attachments that you don't currently have unlocked, you will then unlock them for those weapons as well. So it's a really easy way for you to shortcut some of the best attachments in the game, because if you beat someone PvP, they're probably running some of the meta guns and the meta attachments, meaning that you get to unlock it without putting those hours in for the multiplayer. Now, once you select an equipment, you'll be able to go into this screen and press change. Now, you'll be selected with all these different types of guns. Now, you can select any gun you want and provide any sort of attachment, but to do that, it's not really clear. So you select a gun, and then what you're going to do once you've selected a gun is you could be able to see you have gunsmith at the top, and then you'll be able to go into that gunsmith and customize your attachments as well as tune those attachments for whatever you desire. In this case, it's all about ADS for my sniper. So once you have your insured slot in there, if you die, you will lose that weapon, but you only lose that weapon for a period of time. Once that period of time is over, you can then use another gun, use that gun again, whatever you want to do. You basically have this slot available again. As you can see on the right hand side here, there will be another insurance slot 2 and insurance slot 3 once you have done their factions. So you can see here already that you are going to be able to have at least 3 weapons, and if you lose them in close succession, then you'll have to then move into your contraband. Now, your contraband is anything that you've extracted, and that could be enemy weapons, that could be player weapons, and you have a number of 20 slots available. So there's plenty of room there to extract the kind of weapons that you like to use on a daily basis. Now, there is a way for you to reduce that time without your insured items, and that is with successful extractions. We'll get into exactly how to maximize getting successful extractions in a little while, but essentially how it works is that the more XP you get from a successful extraction, it will reduce the amount of time that you have without an insured item. So let me use this for an example. If you had 12 hours without your weapons, okay, and then you went in and did a really successful extraction, got 10,000 XP, it would reduce that time. So you wouldn't have 12 hours anymore. You might only have 40 minutes. And that will depend on how successful that raid was before. So if you're really struggling with contraband weapons, then what you can do is go in, get a couple of kills, loot a few things, and then get straight out and then extract. And then that way you reduce the time without insured items and you get back to your meta weapons, your meta attachments as soon as possible. Now, once you've selected your tactical gear will be anything you want, and you have an unlimited amount every time you go into raid. This isn't something that, you know, is a finite resource. You can just go in and just use them as much as you want to. The thing with the munitions box here that I have, again, you select these every time you go into DMZ. I highly recommend munitions box. The enemies in DMZ can be armored, and that can take a full magazine, if not more, sometimes to put an enemy down. So I would recommend munitions boxes. You can buy munitions boxes as well from the shopping carts throughout the map, but it's definitely something I recommend you doing. So once you've selected your complete loadout and you've selected the 3 missions you want to do, then you're going to deploy. It will ask you to confirm what 3 missions that you have selected and then confirm again. Then you will see your loadout preview to make sure that you've got the relevant keys that you might need for the selected missions that you have, as well as reconfirm your loadout, and then as simple as literally readying up and matchmaking. Now, if you go back to the front screen and you have squad fill off, when you deploy, you will actually deploy as a solo character. So once you drop in, you'll be presented in the map and you will have to decide where you have spawned and what is the best place for you to go. Now, to do this, you can bring up your map, and as you can see here, the map is pretty huge. So there are plenty of things to do. Make note of the extractions. There is a legend on the right hand side to help you with the certain mission types. The missions are pretty simple. They give you really clear instructions. Go to it. You either do something there, which will probably spawn enemies towards you, or it will tell you to go to A, then to B, then to C, all while taking on enemies. So they're all really, really easy to do. Now, if you choose to use vehicles, there are a number of vehicles spread out. There is a gas mechanic now, so you will need fuel. However, the fuel is really generous and it's not something that you should be worried about whatsoever. Now, the shopping carts themselves are spread across the map, and these are really important. These will allow you to buy self-revives and other things like that that are really useful. Munition boxes and armor plates. Now, you're going to need money before you do that, and the easiest way to do that is to select a close contract towards you. You can ping that so your ping comes up on your map, and then you can just head towards that location, kill enemies along the way, loot the buildings on the way to it, complete the mission, and then you can take that well-earned cash and turn that into more armor plates or a self-revive. Self-revive is something that you should prioritize, particularly if you're running solo, because that gives you a second opportunity. But even if you're in squads, if somebody snipes you from far away and your teammates are nowhere near you, you can get back up in the middle of the fight and still be able to provide cover for your teammates as well. Now, once you have loaded in and you've gone to whatever objective that you need to do, it's about finding an extraction. So there will be plenty of extractions across the map. As you can see here, there are 3. There are also other things that you should pay attention to as well. Once you start getting stronghold keys, which can drop from a variety of enemies, you'll be able to go to these stronghold points. Now, these stronghold points are not to be taken lightly. They have some of the most difficult enemies in the game. So you will need to make sure that you will have a decent amount of kit, or that you have some squad mates that will allow you to go in there and clear those out. Even with squad mates, so you can find yourself running into a shotgun and absolutely decimate. If you're done with the strongholds, then you can go to the hydroelectric area here on this map, which will show you a weapons case. Now, the weapons case, when extracting, will give you one of 7 items that you are able to get. Mixture of emblems, calling cards, skins. There are 7 of these for you to collect, so you need to successfully kill the enemy, grab the box, and then extract with that as well. There is a radiation zone here, which has a enemy in it. This is how you unlock the M13B. You go into this radiation, kill a specific enemy and extract. Once you have successfully extract that item, then that weapon is available for you to use and start leveling up. The final thing that you'll need to do then obviously is make your way to an extraction. Now the extractions themselves are really simple. You literally run up to them and press whatever button is corresponding, whether you're on PC or whether you are on console, and then just wait for the timer for the helicopter to turn up. I would think that as the game progresses, you will see these extraction points camped, but so far day one, I haven't seen too much of that. We haven't run into any contact while being in those extraction modes. And as you can see, because there's only 65 players in these huge maps, it is very rare that you come across enemy teams. And if you want to, you can definitely avoid a lot of those enemy teams. Get your contracts and your missions done and get out. You can even quite avoid the AI. They will shoot at you if you get right up close and personal. But as you can see, I've just walked through the AI there and not really had any trouble at all. You can go to those points of interest and really just get what you need done as a solo player and not have any trouble. Guys, that is it for today's video. If you have enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel or join us over on Twitch. We stream 5 times a week. Otherwise, I'll catch you on the flip.